Well, is it finally going to happen? Calafiori to Arsenal? I think it is. How are you, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. This is our first live show as the Goonerverse, but of course, I've been letting you know via podcast videos, a channel update, and other bits and bobs that we have, of course, renamed. Welcome, everyone, to a live show. It's been a while since we've done this. I thought I'd do this tonight just before I leave with AFTV tomorrow to fly off to the USA. We'll be following Arsenal on their tour of LA and Philadelphia, where they're playing Bournemouth, I think, on the Wednesday, Man United on the Saturday. Of course, though, if you're watching in the UK and other countries, that will be a very early one on Sunday morning. And of course, they then face Liverpool as well. Excited about all that. We'll talk a little bit about the tour. We'll talk about the players that have been confirmed for that tour. One player in particular who's missing. We've got to talk about him. We're going to talk a little bit about this Calafiori deal and why, even though this feels like it's on the brink, there are still a couple little bits and bobs that feel like they're delaying what feels like the inevitable. It's just long, isn't it? We want to see this guy playing in an Arsenal show. We want to see him holding the shirt, getting ready to be a part of pre-season. Of course, Arsenal did have a pre-season game against Leighton Orient. They won 2-0. Do I have any thoughts on it? Not really. Not really, but feel free to ask questions about it. We can try talk and decipher what we can from the few little clips and bits and bobs we did get from it. But yeah, we'll talk Calafiori in a little bit more detail as well. Tomorrow, there will be, I should tell you about this now. Tomorrow, there will be a Goonerverse podcast, which dropped a little bit later last week, dropped on the Wednesday. That was one with Elliot Lee, wasn't it? Yeah, sort of getting them all mixed up now. So that was the Lee and Elliot episode. We talked a lot about Marino. Coming out tomorrow is one with Robbie and Cecil. We talk a lot about traveling, to follow Arsenal and watch the team. We talk about tours. We talk about what we're expecting from the next 10 days, where Arsenal really start to get some, not competitive football in their legs, but let's say more competitive football than behind closed doors friendlies against Leighton Orient, but also a chance to start to get up to speed because that season, it's less than a month away, the start of the Premier League campaign. Let's get some thoughts in. I did not hear this. I did not hear that Gabriel Jesus was linked to Al Hilal. Okay, I didn't know that. If I see anything pop up during this live stream, I will have a little look. Got back from the beach, says Yoop. Fantastic. Hope you enjoyed it. James saving the weekend. Let's go, Anthony. Absolute pleasure to see. Hope you are well. Let's go, James. Bring on the live show, says DJ064. He's been here before. Pleasure to see you too, everyone. Mike Hertz. Appreciate all support that you give to the channel and the content. Hope you are well as well. Get in your comments, get in your thoughts, and we can chat about it all. Let me also just say apologies. I know I'm doing a lot of housekeeping at the beginning of this live and not going into the news quite as quickly as you probably want me to, so I do apologize for that. But let me tell you all that we've sort of introduced a few new things to the channel, apart from a whole new name and logo and branding and all that. Of course, the live streams have been something we've been doing since the beginning of June, really. So we're closing in on 2 months now. I mean, that has absolutely flown by. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to tell you about. What I was here to tell you about was that we are doing news updates via shorts now on the Goonerverse. So it's essentially my opportunity. I might even be able to show you. Let's have a little look. If I can quickly show you what I'm talking about. Essentially, it's my opportunity to be able to chat to you all and give a really, really quick opinion on what's going on. Here we go. There we go. I should be able to show this. There we are. There's me in my face. I've just been doing these shorts as a sort of way of, I was away this weekend, hence I probably look absolutely exhausted. Apologies, and I might not be, as coherent as I want to be throughout this stream. But basically, I've been doing these shorts as just a way of telling you all, my 1 minute thoughts on what's going on and give you some of the information that's doing the rounds. In a very, very quick way. Wherever I am, I'm able to communicate with you guys and give you my thoughts on all that as well. So just wanted to let you know that those are there so you can look out for them as well on the channel. Right, I've really waffled on for nearly 5 minutes. We've not even got into the news yet. So let's start. Calafiori. Now, I've got this here in front of us immediately from Get Italian Football News, which is that Roma and Basel set for a legal battle because Riccardo Calafiori's moved to Arsenal. Report Gazzetta dello Sport. Roma also want a percentage of Basel's sell-on fee. What is it? Everyone just wants like this trickle-down effect from, basically whoever buys a player, the next three clubs will get a percentage, and then a percentage of that, and then a percentage of that. Look, I don't know what Roma have agreed with Basel. what we do know is that Basel had something agreed with Bologna, and they're going to get a decent chunk of that transfer fee that Arsenal pay. Now, we did hear across the weekend that Edu has managed to negotiate something that's going to go to a max £38 million, roughly. What was it, 33 plus 4 point something million in add-ons? Sounds like really good business from Edu and Arsenal. They've been patient. They've taken their time with this. It's frustrated us a little bit, but it looks like they've actually pulled off a really good deal. £38 million for a player whose reputation is really good right now. I know some of you will go, what, 3 games of the Euros in 1 year with Bologna, but listen to what the experts say about him. Listen to what someone like James Horncastle, who writes for The Athletic, covers Italian football news, listen to or read what he says about it. In fact, I might even do a video on this channel, looking into some of his research and storytelling and trying to sort of explain it in video form, because he just talks about this guy like he's sort of the next big thing in Italian football. Did you see Bonucci's quotes? I mean, Bonucci said that, there's some really great things about Calafiori and the talent he is, and what a shame it is that he's sort of leaving the country to go play his football elsewhere. I think it's good to see that, an Italian footballer has ended up at Juventus. I know as Arsenal fans, we've had that frustration with Locatelli, Vlahovic not being Italian, but of course, a player that was killing it in Serie A. We really wanted him, and he ended up going to Juve as well. Calafiori apparently said no to a lot of teams that came in. Juventus, Real Madrid. Was it Real Madrid? I just chucked them in there. Am I confusing the Lenny Euro stuff? So hard to keep up with all the transfers. Pretty sure they mentioned Real Madrid were in there. No, do you know what? I might be wrong about that. Atletico Madrid, Leverkusen, Dortmund, Chelsea. But he wanted to join us, which is brilliant. And I'm really happy with getting him. I've said a million times now that I was blown away by him at the Euros. I sort of thought this guy is a top player, class act. Before we even linked with him, next thing you know, Arsenal are genuinely going for him, and I've been really excited about this transfer. I always thought we needed someone at left back. I didn't think it was super pressing. I didn't feel it was an area we're kind of desperate to address. And so I didn't think any left back we were going to bring in, I was going to be particularly excited about, but I have been really excited about the signing of Calafiori. However, we may have to be a little bit patient, as you can see from this report, because of whatever Roma, Basel, Bologna all have to sort out amongst themselves, which is slightly frustrating, but we have agreed a fee, according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, Matteo Moretto, who's been right on this, if I'm not mistaken, no, maybe he does work with Fabrizio Romano. There's someone who Fabrizio Romano keeps endorsing. Anyway, this was on July 20th, so yesterday, right? Arsenal and Bologna have scheduled more talks tomorrow to definitely close the transfer of Calafiori. The player is expected to undergo his medical, sign his Arsenal contract next week. That's all great news. He has put this up. So he's retweeted AFC Stuff, who, of course, were aggregating his news with a little timer, Italian flag, the colour red, and the checkered flag, which, if you know your Formula One and racing, means we're coming to the end, people. That will be done pretty soon. We just hope all the other stuff with the other clubs gets addressed quite quickly. It is finally happening, it looks like. And you know what I'll say as well? It has taken a little while. I do think Arsenal, and I'm not criticising Edu, because I think Edu and Arteta have done tremendous work. But I do think Arsenal are slight ditherers in the market. If I'm really totally honest, I do think Arsenal, and ditherers might be harsh, right? Because this time has saved money and has given Arsenal more strength in the market, which is really good. I mean, we need to be in a position where we're pulling the market price down towards where we want it to be a little bit more by being strict on how far we'll go with our transfer fees in terms of, when we're selling players, selling them for the value we believe they're worth, not budging. I've been saying that don't sell a player if you're not going to get the fee they want. But at the same time, there also comes a point where you've got to not spend money if you don't think a player is worth it. And also taking the time with this deal, and they've got a better deal out of it. But what I will say is, I do also think that we are a club, or we tend to, in transfer negotiations, take a little bit longer. I don't think. I mean, we've seen a few surprise transfers come out. A Kivior, a Vieira, a Trossard. Granted, Arsenal have been capable of getting something, from the initial rumours to the, holding the shirt. They have been able to do that quite quickly at times. But generally, things drag on a little bit. This Calafiori one was starting to, along with rumours that it had been stalled or whatever, or that it was stalling. I honestly think in hindsight, now that we know everything about that, I think that's just a case of the player coming back from his holiday, some conversations need to be had, and yeah, everything moving from there onwards. But Calafiori is going to be an Arsenal player, and I'm really excited about him. I think he's going to play centre back / left back, predominantly left back. I do think he's got a long-term future at centre back, if I'm completely honest. As much as I absolutely love Gabriel, I don't know if he's going to be at Arsenal in 5 years. I don't. We know that there were rumours of a move a year ago. And obviously he stayed, and I'm delighted he stayed. It's brilliant that he stayed. And I'm not saying he was necessarily entertaining that move, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm it's good that we've got Calafiori as well, and competition's good. And yeah, I just think I remain sort of skeptical of what might happen with certain players' futures over the next 5 years or whatever. But of course, we need to think about the here and now and being competitive absolutely now. And Calafiori, I think, is going to add a lot of left back. He's only 22 years old. We know that 4 years ago he had that big injury, but he's can't come back from that brilliantly. Played tremendously for Italy and Bologna. He's played for a club that's got into the Champions League. Now we need to make that step up and try and help us win the title. Let's hope he can. Let's get some of your comments and thoughts. Jordan says, now Calafiori to play left back permanently, not centre back. No, I think he's going to be more left back than centre back, but I just have a feeling that he will get some minutes at centre back, and that Arteta will want to know what he can bring to that area of the pitch too. Who's better, says Joe? Timber or Calafiori? Timber's a better right back, and Calafiori may prove a better left back. It might just be that. But this is good. We have options. Man City last season, Ake was one of their best players en route to winning the treble, and they spent 84 million, whatever it is, on Gvardiol. That's the level. That is the level these clubs are operating at that we need to compete with. Real Madrid have Vinicius, who might well win the Ballon d'Or, and they've just signed Mbappe. At some point, you've got to just add quality because they are quality, and then you make it work. The best clubs will make it work. What else have we got this? Christopher. James. Fab said that Bologna have included a sell-on clause in the deal. I wonder what percentages. I think you're right. Maybe we've included. Yeah, I think you're right. Maybe Arsenal have included a sell-on clause. 25%, 20%. I mean, if we sell them for like 80 million one day, 20 million of it goes back to Bologna, maybe 15%. I don't know. Interesting. Again, more questions about this. Well, Timber play. Everyone stop stressing. Sorry, hiccups. Don't stress. Don't stress. He's a brilliant player, Timber, and he will get minutes at right back or at centre back. Don't worry. We have a lot of football to play next season. We've got 8 Champions League games guaranteed against 8 different teams. We'll be playing 8 Champions League sides next year. 4 of them at home, 4 of them away. And that's before we even get to the knockouts. If we make it, which I believe we're good enough to, Timber will play plenty of football. We want to go far in the cups. Timber will play plenty of football. Trust me. What else are you guys all asking? What else are we asking? Pablo, coming on to the next part of the conversation I definitely want to go to. With the Tommy injuries, Calafiori seems a more solid buy. Feel bad for Tommy, but the guy can't keep fit. Let's do it. Let's have the conversation about Tommy now then. And let me get this. Yeah, here we go. So, Doc letting us know that via the Arsenal website, Takehiro Tomiyasu with a knee problem will remain in London to receive treatment from medical staff at Sober Realty Training Centre. And this came through from James Benge, CBS Sports. Takehiro Tomiyasu understood to be facing 2 to 3 weeks on the sidelines with a knee injury that has seen him miss Arsenal's tour of the US. Let me see if I can get the official Arsenal squad in the meantime up. Arsenal tour. Let's see if I can get here we go, the travelling squad. So the travelling squad: Carl Hein, Tommy Setford, Lucas Nygaard, Alexei Rojas. I believe those are the 4 goalkeepers, Setford and Nygaard, arriving this summer. Our defenders are Ben White, Alexander Zinchenko, Jurien Timber, Josh Nichols, Jakub Kivior, Aidan Heaven, Omar Rakik. So you've got two left backs in there, and Kivior, Zinchenko, White and Timber right backs. I don't know enough about Nichols, but I know Heaven has played centre back and Rakik is a centre back too. Partey, Jorginho, Rosiak, Lewis Skelly, Erdegaard, Smith Rowe, Vieira, Nwaneri, and Ulad Hand are the midfielders, I believe. Maybe Jimmy Goa is too. I'm no expert, but I think he might be. I think, sorry, we've got a little bit of spam in the chat. There we go. Let's remove that. Back to it. So, Trossard, Nelson, Sago Jr., Jesus, and Nketiah are the forwards going. So, couple thoughts on this. I mean, it's a depleted squad, right? I mean, congrats to the 10 youngsters going. I'm really excited to see Lewis Skelly. I think he'll get minutes at left back as he did in the friendly against Leyton Orient. I think we'll see Nwaneri play some football, which is great as well. Interested to see how others look, like especially the goalkeepers. How do Setford, Nygaard look? How does Carl Hein look? So I'm interested to see how they'll do. Karthik saying you need moderators. Yes, I do. I agree. Very new to this live stuff. Apologies. But yeah, it's a squad that is missing, a lot of quality. Now we know, if I'm not mistaken, let me find it. We know that, here we go. We know that Gabriel Magalhaes, Martinelli, and Kai Havertz will join the squad from July 25th. We know that Rice, Ramsdale, Raya, and Saka will all join the squad around August 5th, we think. But again, are they ready to then start the new season? I don't know. Now, the Tomiyasu conversation, now that we sort of know everything about the squad and the group going. I'm a big fan of Tomiyasu. In fact, I'm going to tell you how big a fan I am of this. I think when he's at his best, he's the best. He's the best fullback in the air we've got. He's the most versatile across the back four. I think he's as comfortable at right back, centre back, and left back. I think he's incredibly comfortable across all three positions. Actually, four, because I think right centre back and left centre back. I actually think he's the best cover for Saliba. So I think if Saliba were to be missing for a game, I'd rather go White, Tomiyasu, Gabriel. Actually, do I mean that? Over Timber, White, Gabriel? I don't know. But I think Tomiyasu got a really good shout for that role and position. I think he's probably the best tied with Saliba, if not just behind Saliba, best one-to-one defender we got. One-on with a particular player. I back Tomiyasu to come out of it. I rate him so highly. But his injury record's a problem. Let's find it. Tomiyasu injury record. His injury record's a problem, people. I'm not going to pretend it's not. Here it is. Since look, he had some injuries. Hamstring, calf, muscular. He had those at Bologna. Another player we signed from Bologna. He missed 11 games in his first season. In the crunch part of the season as well, as you can see. He missed 16 games because of knee surgery. There we go. So he's had a knee problem before. I remember this. And then last season, he missed 2 spells, 6 games and 7 games. It's such a shame. I think he's a top player, top guy, uber professional, does whatever's asked of him. You need to invert, you need to overlap, get in the pockets, play centre back, deep block, try break a team down. He will try everything. He will do everything. He will do whatever's asked of him. I rate Tomiyasu so highly, but he's incredibly injury prone. He's incredibly injury prone, people. To the point where, 2 things. Firstly, if we're to sell someone this summer, and everyone keeps talking about Kivior or Zinchenko, even though I think Tomiyasu is a better player than both, Zinchenko has his injury problems, but Tomiyasu is not available enough. It's a problem. I don't know. Tomiyasu, I think, is a better player than Kivior. I do, but Kivior's more available. If you're talking about playing a part in the squad, at right back, you've got White and Timber. Do you even, you could say you're pretty covered there. I don't know. We were linked with Mark Gehi recently, and that makes sense. if we were to get a good offer for Tomiyasu and he went for say 20 to 30 million, or we signed Mark Gehi, that wouldn't surprise me. It'd be another defender in, but it wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal tried to do that. I don't think we'd add Calafiori and Gehi in one window, but if it was a case of a good offer came in for Tomiyasu, we were linked with Gehi recently. Maybe there's something in that. I don't know. I think it's a concern how often he's injured, if I'm honest. I really, really do. I really like the guy. I wish he could stay fit. I think if he could stay fit, he'd play a big, big part in every season. But he can't. He can't stay fit. It's a real problem. And we really missed him. You know that when we lost Saliba at the end of the 22-23 season, we were chasing the title. People forget that we lost Tomiyasu at the same time. And that was a huge problem because White could have played centre-back or Tomiyasu could have played centre-back and Rob Holding wouldn't have played as much football. So Tomiyasu was not as big a miss as Saliba at the end of that campaign, but a very, very big miss nonetheless. And we now need that squad. Now we've added Timber, now we've added Calafiori. I get we are far better equipped to deal with the absence of a Tomiyasu, but yeah, it does make me wonder, is it time to... It's such a shame. I don't want to be saying that. He doesn't mean to be injured. It's not his fault. He'll be the most disappointed out of all of us about his injury. He will be. But football, unfortunately, is quite a ruthless industry. So I see. I'll see. I think we need maybe it's a case of one more campaign. Because what would this be? This would be his fourth campaign, right? So he played the 21-22 season, so 2-3 to 3-4. So this 24-25 campaign would be his fourth. If he has another injury-ridden campaign, I think it's a case of you have to sell next summer. I'd love to know your thoughts. We should have sold Tommy to Bayern, says Laska. Maybe he's a very good player. Look at us. Look at the position we're in now, where we've got really good players that forgetting their injuries and go, yeah, we can move them on. I remember Fabregas and Van Persie had injuries, and I never dreamt of selling them. Ramsey had loads of injuries, but we're all saying we want you to stay. There have been countless examples of players that have had injury problems at Arsenal, but we've given them years and years to get it right. But now we're in a position where, we've got a wealth of talent, especially in Tomiyasu's position or positions, that we're sort of saying, well, if he wants to go or if we can get money for him, we should do it. Let's see. We're not drawn to Liverpool. Tomiyasu played that game. Which game? Sorry, everyone is really hot here in London. I'm just going to need some water. Let me mute myself one sec. You don't want to hear this. Sorry, that's not great streaming. That's not particularly good content creation. But my word, was I thirsty. Sorry about that. 80 plus cash for Gehi will be good depth behind Saliba and can rotate. Yeah, sure. I mean, but again, we need to make room in the squad at this point. Then we'd really be too stacked. Pablo says at this point, yes, definitely keep Kivior, sell Tommy, keep Zinchenko. Shame, but it's just the harsh reality. Oh, sad, but I think so too. Get you 70 million. Yeah, but I mean, Tomiyasu plus Eddie. Would that do it? Hey Palace, here's Tommy, here's Eddie. Plus 5 million. Would that get it done? I don't know. Rod says Tommy is similar to Partey. So great when on form, but long term not viable with injury issues. I think we let go next summer if an offer comes along, since you don't have these injury prone players. Yeah, City don't seem quite as unlucky. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in as always. City, I mean, they have the odd De Bruyne issue, but very rarely. I don't get why we need Gehi. No, look, Gorlin, am I pronouncing right? You're right. We don't need Gehi. Right now, today, our squad is sorted. No deals needed. No incomings, no outgoings in terms of our defense. Did I say Scott? Our defense is sorted, is what I'm trying to say. You got White, Timber, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel Kivior, Calafiori, Zinchenko. I mean, we are so sorted across the whole back four. But if Tomiyasu goes, Gehi comes in, you're really sorted. I think that would be an upgrade to the squad, considering Tomiyasu, although he can play just as comfortably across the whole back four, he's probably slightly better at fullback than he is at centre back, and Gay's a top player. So yeah. What else there to chat about, people? Just before we round off the stream 5 minutes ago or so, I did want to chat about the Chido Martin thing. I'm gonna make sure I haven't missed anything out. Let me know in the comment section below if there's anything else I haven't mentioned that I should be talking about. I'll keep an eye on the comments as we enter these last 5 minutes. But let's chat about Chido Martin potentially going to Man United. All I'll say is this. Have I ever watched a minute outside of comps and highlights? Have I ever watched a minute outside of that of Chido Martin? No. Not once. I've never watched an academy game he's played in. I've never watched a replay of a full 90 he's played in. I've not done some intense scouting on him. Nothing. So I cannot be upset about this. I can have concerns, which I'll go into, but I'm not upset about this. That's not me saying it's not bad for Arsenal, by the way. You know, that Koza Doobie, Raul Walters, and now Chido Martin are basically going to walk for nothing. That's not good. That's a problem. The Arsenal Academy, if we're being really, really blunt, because I think Per Mertesacker is probably doing some good work, and it's not just him, it's the whole club, and, you know, Arteta needs to give opportunities to a lot of things, okay? But if I'm honest, let me just answer this, by the way, because it's just popped up. This is the James B channel's been renamed to the Goonerverse, so welcome. This is the same channel. Back to it. I think the Academy has low-key failed a little bit in recent years. Saka is one of very, very, very few players that have come through the Academy and sort of had any impact in the first team for a while. Actually, you've got Willock and Nelson and Ketia. I mean, that probably was harsh for me to say. Okay, not any impact, but significant impact. I don't think you can say, even Smith Rowe, I don't think you can say Smith Rowe, Nelson, and Ketia have had a serious impact. But that's okay. They've had an impact. You know what? I'm probably being harsh. They've had an impact and they've played. And I'm you know what? I'm being harsh. They've all proven themselves good Premier League footballers. So I slightly retract that. But they were 4 years ago we knew about them. Maybe 5 years ago. Saka was 4 years ago, and since then it's been quite slow. It's not happened for Koza Dubry or Walters or a few others. Miguel Aziz is another one. Balogun obviously went for 37 million. You know, when I'm reflecting on it, maybe I'm being a bit harsh here. Maybe Balogun 37 million. I know you can't get money for all of them. I just have this feeling that we should have had maybe a little bit more come through into the first team. Maybe a little bit more opportunities provided for some of these younger players. Just a little bit, just to see. Whether it be on pre-season tour, whether it be in the Carabao Cup or whatever. But then I'm not complaining about going out the Carabao Cup too early. So I understand the hypocrisy there. And I also feel like ultimately when talents like Walters, Koza Dubry and Chido Martin are going for nothing, that feels disappointing. So yeah, I don't know. Do you know what? I don't know. I'm struggling to form an opinion on it. Clearly we're going to get good money for Smith Rowe, and clearly we've got good money for Balogun, and the Nketiah negotiations seem at a good place. So you know what? Maybe I'm being too harsh. We'll get decent money for Nelson. In fact, maybe I probably am being actually way too harsh on that. But what I will say, like I said on the podcast with Laura, Alex Forder, and Sharoy, this is a couple of weeks ago on the Goonerverse, I said ultimately the team's playing so well and is competing that I don't care. I don't care enough because that's my first priority. It's, well, what are the first 11 doing? What's that team doing? And the academy for me is helping to facilitate that, even make money to get players in for the first team, or the players are good enough to come into the first team. Now it's part of our history as a club and our DNA that youngsters get a chance and that they play a part in our future and our fortunes. But you can't force it. And if they're not good enough, they're not good enough. So, yeah, I know. Look, Jean Ren, Loki failed. I know. As I was talking through it, I was realizing I was being too harsh. But I also think maybe some aspects with some players who could have done a bit better. But maybe you can't. There's so many academy players. Maybe you can't keep on top of all of them and make sure they all have the right contract for the right length and are, all looked after properly. I don't know, maybe. So look, my bad. When you're doing these lives, you can't always, if this were a pre-record, I'd have just cut it there and gone, hold on, James, rephrase that. You don't quite mean it. But I don't think the academy is operating perfectly. Aaron says, is it crazy to think we don't really need any more pieces? Turn one of our L's to a W and we win the league. We only finished 2 points behind City. Aaron, I get you in theory. It just never quite works like that, but I get you in theory. I don't think we need a lot. Well, actually, no, I do. I think Calafiori is a good signing. Is going to be a good signing once that gets done. And then I think you add to that a winger and a midfielder, and we go up a level. Remember, we've been going to the very end in title races without going that far in the Champions League. Quarters isn't bad for your first time back, but we've not exactly gone very deep in that competition. We haven't done anything in the Cups for a long time now. So it's about being competitive on all fronts a little bit more as well. And you need squad depth to do that. And we're trying to raise the floor as much as we're trying to push the ceiling up. So everyone, we'll leave it there. That was a quick catch up on everything. We had to do it because lots of news broke across the weekend. I hope you enjoyed it. That was everything to do with Calafiori, Chido Martin. Disappointed in losing him, but is what it is. Quite frankly, I'll regret that in a few years, maybe, or I won't. I'll let you know in a few years what I make of that situation there. Well, anything else did we mention? Not really. Tomiyasu. I hope he recovers soon. He doesn't mean to be injured. I want to see him back in an Arsenal shirt, but it's raising conversations. Look forward to the squad playing out in the USA. I'll be there with AFTV. I can't wait. Big thank you to everyone tuning in. Look out for the shorts where I'm giving you my breaking news reactions, and look out for other content podcasts coming tomorrow with Cecil and Robbie. And I'll be doing some content with AFTV out in the USA and a bit on this channel too. See you all in a bit.